All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're taking a deep look at a very specific corner of the college world, the Delta Phi fraternity at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, RPI. But we're not using their official marketing material.
Nope. We're basing this whole explainer on a source that calls itself a brutally honest evaluation. So what does that mean? It means forget the glossy brochures, forget the official talking points. We're getting the unfiltered, real-deal take on what it's actually like to be in this chapter.
And right away, you see the fundamental conflict we're dealing with. On one side, you have Delta Phi, one of the oldest fraternities in America, steeped in history and tradition. And on the other, you've got RPI, this hypermodern, cutting-edge tech school. It's a total clash of worlds.
Which brings us to the big question, right? In a place that's all about coding, engineering, and what's next, what possible role could a fraternity with roots in the Civil War actually play? Is it just an old relic, or is it maybe some kind of hidden gem? Let's figure it out.
Okay, first things first, you have to understand the history here. This isn't just another frat. It's what's called a heritage frat, and its whole identity, its entire vibe, is tied to its past.
So get this. The National Fraternity was founded way back in 1827, but the chapter at RPI, the Lambda Chapter, was established in 1864. Yep, you heard me right, smack in the middle of the American Civil War. That makes it the oldest continuous chapter at any technical university. And today, it lives in a pretty small, niche Greek system.
Our source makes one thing completely 100% clear from the get-go. If you're even thinking about Delta Phi at RPI, you need to manage your expectations. You are not joining to become the social king of Troy, New York. The reason to join is something else entirely.
So, if it's not about being the biggest party on campus, then what is the main selling point? Well, according to our source, a huge part of the answer is its alumni network. So, let's see how it scores.
And the key word here is specific. This is not some generic network of finance bros. It's a super concentrated group of people who are senior engineers, tech entrepreneurs, project managers, and top-tier researchers. I mean, it's a network that perfectly mirrors the kind of people who go to RPI in the first place.
And that right there, that's the crucial trade-off. If you're an engineering major, if you're into computer science, this network is absolute gold. But if your dreams are outside of STEM, like you want to go into law or media, its value drops off, and it drops off pretty fast.
So when you weigh all that, incredibly relevant for tech, but not so much for other fields, what's the number? What's the final score for alumni value?
A 60 out of 100. And that feels about right. It's a solid score that tells the story perfectly, super valuable for the right person, but it's not a one-size-fits-all powerful network for everybody.
All right, so that's the professional side. Let's get personal. What's the day-to-day really like? What about the social scene, the parties? It's time to check out the frat lifestyle score.
Our source is really practical about this. The social calendar is described as modest. Think smaller events focused on the brothers' bonding, not massive campus-wide ragers. The entire culture is built around a simple fact of life at RPI. School is really hard. So this fraternity is designed to fit around your studies, not get in the way of them.
So if we're measuring this against that stereotypical, movie-style, Animal House frat lifestyle, how does it actually stack up?
A 34 out of 100. Now listen, that number is not an insult. It's a clarification. It tells you that this fraternity gives you a social layer for your college years, not the social centerpiece. It's an important distinction.
Let's get even more personal. We've talked careers and parties. What about relationships? Both the romantic kind and the brotherly kind.
Our source is really blunt about the dating scene. Given the culture at RPI, just wearing the Greek letters on your sweatshirt is not going to be some kind of magic charm. Like it says right here, your success is going to come down to your own personal charisma. And that reality is hammered home by the score, a 31 out of 100. And again, this isn't really a judgment. It's more of a statement of fact about this specific campus. Your affiliation is secondary. Your own effort is what matters.
Okay, now for a metric that is, well, it's definitely unique to our source. It's a way to measure the closeness of the Brotherhood, and it's called the homoerotic level. But let's be crystal clear. The source uses this as a quirky, metaphorical scale just to talk about the intensity of male friendship and bonding. So the scale goes from a 1, which is described as business casual roommates, all the way up. For what we're talking about here, the source defines a level 4 as the bromance tier. Things like cooking together, hitting the gym, and actually being there for each other with emotional support.
And Delta Phi Lambda scores a 4.1, putting it right in that bromance tier. And that tells you a lot. It suggests a brotherhood built on strong, genuinely supportive friendships. It's a comfortable, real camaraderie, not something fake or over the top.
All right, we've gone through the alumni network, the lifestyle, the brotherhood. It is time to put it all together and get to the final verdict.
The final overall score from our source comes in at a 49 out of 100. But that number, all by itself, doesn't really tell you the whole story. The real story is right here, in the balance of the pros and cons. The pros are serious. A really strong STEM network, a close-knit brotherhood, and a culture that helps you manage your schoolwork. The cons are just the other side of that same coin. A limited party scene, an alumni network that's very niche, and not a lot of name recognition outside its own world.
So at the end of the day, who is this actually for? The source boils it down to a pretty simple checklist. Ask yourself, 1. Are you a serious student in a technical field? 2. Do you care more about a small, loyal group of friends than a giant social scene? And 3. Do you want a social life that won't destroy your GPA? If you answered yes to all 3 of those, this might be the place. And this final quote from the source just sums it up perfectly. Delta Phi at RPI is for the STEM mind that still wants the fraternity bond, scaled for reality. It's not for everyone, it's not trying to be, but for that very specific person, it could be the absolute perfect fit.